everyone, and welcome to Behind the Movies, the podcast. My name is Emerald, and I'm your host. So, Behind the Movies seeks to understand the thought process of those who work behind the scenes, their experiences, and their struggles. Today, we have with us Mr. Eke Umeh, who is a production manager, a veteran production manager. He's been in the industry for many years, worked on so many sets. So, you have amassed a huge pool of connections with the amount of sets you've been on. I want to know how you started in your career in production management.
Okay. First, I want to say thank you for having me on this program.
Yes.
Okay, so talking about how I started as a production manager. First, I started working as a general manager to the production house, the Bejiro Productions. Though I started as an actor, but then I delved into behind the scene. So I worked as a general manager with him, and from there I learned, how to work behind the scenes and what behind the scenes works out for and how it looks like. So I started there, and I worked on a lot of productions, and since then, there have not been any going back about that.
And can you tell us your experience with just generally working on sets in film production management?
The experience plenty.
Okay, so what's that common denominator that you just know that this is going to happen every set?
Okay, so one of the major experiences you have as a production manager is with the actors.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that is beside that for now. Those ones must give you issues. You must have that. Then being able to manage from the top to the bottom of the cadre when it comes to behind the scenes. Now I'm talking about both the director, both the producer, both the crew, other crew, both the actors, till down to even the welfare and the location driver. So this is a huge job. So it's quite challenging. Truth be told, it's quite challenging and heavy. So on set, you must always keep to time as the production manager. If nobody else keeps to time as a production manager, you must keep time. Let every other person meet you there. So these are, part of the experiences that I've had, coming to understand my actors, coming to understand my crew, and most especially, you must work as a team. You can't be bossy. Otherwise, you're disuniting the team. And so working is going to get difficult. Very, very difficult, because everyone will want to play as a different unit and not be under one command. So in order to achieve that, you must work as a team, as a production manager.
So something you said struck me. You said you must not be bossy as a production manager. But what a lot of people encounter when they're working on sets, they encounter people from other departments who try to head over the production manager, you don't know what you're doing, that type of things. How do you manage if you're not going to impose on that person?
Okay, this happens in every field, not just in production. There are people who are aspiring your position. So most of the time, they try to downplay your efforts and what you're doing. Now, some people may, out of their own selfishness or pride, want to make you feel like you don't know what you're doing. And so this definitely will bring a problem. Because I'm telling you what to do, I'm giving you my call time, I'm telling you when to set up, and then you want to argue about it, and then you turn around to say, or make people feel like the production manager is not doing well. Most people actually prefer when they are shouted at, or when a production manager wants to go fisticuff. Most people like that. Some people feel as a production manager, if you're not shouting on set, you're not doing the job. But no, that's not what the job is. The job is get your team working at all times. Because sometimes there are some people you shout at, or you want to be bossy too, they want to resist. And between the time of that resistance, the arguments and all that, time is being wasted.
Right.
Time is being wasted. Even when an actor or a crew member is having issues, it is not the time to come to say who is wrong or who is right. Yours is to calm the situation and make sure that your time is running as per schedule, and make sure that you meet your target, because that is your focus. Making sure that this job goes smoothly and at the same time achieving your time. There are people like that. We've had sets where people actually had to fight or had to quarrel, and then an actor walks out or a crew member feels heady. Then when you say go and do this, he wants to take his or her time. So these are not the things that you want to achieve as a production manager. Yours is to get the job going. Your set is ready when it's supposed to be ready. Your actors are on set when they're supposed to be on set. And the director is on standby to take up the scene or scenes as long as you're ready. So that is actually what a production manager should be.
Thank you for that. So what's your typical approach to budget management in film production?
Okay. The truth is, in Nollywood yet, the production managers are actually not given the opportunity to make the budgets. That's the truth. Every producer wants to count his budget, wants to have his money or her money, and then dictate for you or the cast or anybody what he or she wants to spend or will spend as a producer. Ordinarily, budgeting is actually a core responsibility of all the production manager. But unfortunately, producers in this kind, insist on what their budget is. As a production manager, in fact, these days, or in those days, we used to have where production managers are given some certain funds, to be able to run the production, including paying actors, at least the cameo appearances, the minors. Once they film, you take them aside. Once they finish the job, you pay them immediately. But these days, even though they are paid immediately, you still send them back to the producer to handle that aspect. Even though they will come to you as a PM, believing that that should be your responsibility. But unfortunately, Nollywood is not, I think, the West say metamorphosed into producer handles everything.
So production delays are one inevitable thing on any sets, especially like maybe during the first few days of sets. How do you manage to stay within your time limits, or rather your deadline, while still having these issues?
That's a very good question. And to be honest with you, production delays sometimes are really not avoidable. That is the gospel truth. Because if I'm having a technical problem, we just have to get it right before we go back on set. Now, some delays are caused by some certain people, especially actors. When I say actors, I mean actors and actresses. Anybody who is coming, because of lateness too. So you have to wait. So as for managing the same timing and your scheduling, most times you don't really achieve your scheduling. That's the gospel truth. It could be that the director is not satisfied with what he or she is seeing after a scene, and then decides, okay, we are going to redo it or reshoot, and then that is also taking time. So even when you time a scene, sometimes it overlaps. Sometimes it could be that the light is not okay as expected when filming, so you need to reset. Of course, this is Nigeria. Light is also a major cause of a delay. Especially, of course, every production plans to use a generator, except for, thank God, these days where we shoot in apartments, most times. And then, or when you're doing exteriors, you don't need the lights.
Right.
Most times. That is not a major problem now. But earlier, you must carry a generator to set. I've been on a set where, of course, we had a generator, certified, okay. You get on set, it doesn't start. You get on set, the same generator doesn't start. So that's the delay. Because you're believing that, no, I just use this generator, and why is it not coming on? And you keep dragging and dragging and dragging. Okay, somebody says it could be oil. You open it, there's oil. It could be fuel. How can? Tank is full, but it's not starting. Then at that point, imagine the delay already. You're now thinking of an alternative of where to go and get another generator. Now, this is Lagos. Telling someone that I'll be with you in 10 minutes is unrealistic.
Yeah.
Except your neighbors. You understand what I'm saying? Except your neighbors. Because the distance to go and get that generator, going and coming back, there will be delays. So, but like you said, how do you manage that time? There's nothing much you can do. It's just to reassure everybody on set. Tempers will rise for some people.
Yes.
Who feel that their times are being wasted. If you get some actors will tell you, if you guys are not ready, why ask me to come on set? It's understandable. But these things will always happen. So that is when, as a PM, you become calmer and be able to control the mindset of everybody on the set by reassuring them that whatever we have planned to do, we will achieve. Sometimes, if we plan to end shooting by 6, you just realize that, okay, you're shooting into the night.
Right.
Yeah, but that is also, as a PM, being able to manage the minds around you. The production manager job is not easy. Because you must be in everybody's head. And while these things are happening, your schedule is also changing because you probably didn't finish what you planned to do today. So already you're thinking in your head, you remember that you have called actors ahead to say you're going to be on set by 8 in the morning. Now you're also going to start thinking of how you're going to call them back to say, oh, sorry, I'm sorry, you'll not be on set because I have carryovers of things to do. So some may get angry, definitely, because they must have planned some other things. Come to your set, do what they need to do, and go down. If you want to move it to the next day, they have a right to tell you, look, because I have you tomorrow, I've already fixed something for next tomorrow. Now, these are things that will definitely cause problems. But your time, with the speed you work with your director, and with the speed of the crew, you may still achieve it most times.
And what is the most challenging thing you've ever experienced on a set?
The most challenging thing I have experienced. Every day on set or on a production is a challenge. Every day. It is managing the actors. I've been on a set where, in fact, I had to change my style from always calling and calling and calling because I've been in that position where everybody knows, you have assured everybody, the cast and crew, we are ready. And an actor tells you in your face, if he eventually arrives, or she eventually arrives and said, you did not give me call time. You can imagine how embarrassing that is. You did not give me call time. You did not give me call time. How? How possible? But they'll deny you. And of course, who takes the blame?
Yeah.
The production manager. If anything goes wrong on the set, the production manager, not minding when they know that truly it is not you. But of course, for the sake of the production and moving on, production manager will take the bullet. And that is one thing every production manager should understand. It is not the time to argue. It's not the time to protest. It's not the time to want to prove anything. It is a time to even be calmer and make sure that the production goes on. I've also been on the set where location was paid for. They agreed on the timing. By the morning when you're loading cast and crew to move, you get a call or a message that sorry, you can't use this place today. Like how? You can't use this place today. And then you start looking for another location. Apart from looking for another location, you are also thinking in your head and planning in your head since that you never scheduled.
Right.
You now go to look for them that you know you can work with people around you.
Yeah.
Now, all these things are happening in your head at the same time. You're trying to get a solution. You're also thinking about the set and what should have been happening. Time is going. So those things are very challenging, especially when you take a blade that is not yours and you know it is not your fault. Sometimes it can make some people cry, it can make some people snap.
Really?
Some people can actually get crazy and say things they're not supposed to say. But I'm not like that. For me, it is the job. If I want to make a complaint later, I can do after we've achieved what we want to achieve.
I can actually remember something like what you just spoke about right now happened on a set I was on. We got to the location and then they told us that somebody else was inside the house and we could not use it till like 10 a.m. And we had gotten there by 7 a.m. So we were just standing outside and then the producer and production manager were literally screaming at each other like, why wasn't this settled since? And all of that. And they were just finding it so hard to like come to terms with what was going on.
You see, that's why I said it must be a team. Any set I am, the first production meeting when we gather together is to make everyone understand that it's a team. Nobody has come here to prove superiority or your expertise. For example, I tell my cast and crew and production team, I said, you know, because you're not the DOP or the cameraman, and you see a camera going down, and you ignore it. Why? Because you're not the cameraman. The camera person should be in charge of the camera. And it's going down. So what stops you from stopping it from going down? Because that camera gets down, we finish the shoot for the day. So what did we achieve? You see a light that is not too good, you point out to either the DOP, whisper, or to the director that I don't think this camera and this light is too cool. But your decisions are. So that's why I like working. The problem with the director and the production manager is that they are not working as a team. Most people believe in this thing that first day of shoot, you know, you really don't achieve much.
Yes.
It is true. It is true because especially when you're doing your arrival the same day of shoot to your location. Even when you do a day or a night before and you try to, because you need to understand the environment. So by the following morning, you just realize that the socket that you believe is going to be functional and okay to carry probably your light starts burning after testing it. And so you begin to run around and most of the time you just realize that the place you're filming, you know, is not really what it is. So settling down, unpacking equipment on the first shoot day is usually a bit draggy. Unlike when you are filmed for the first day. Now when you're filmed for the fourth day, you realize that most things will not be dragged into the vehicle anymore. Especially when you're around that vicinity. You just realize that, okay, you have your light stands, you have this as it is right now. What you just need to do is you leave them on. You don't strike them. You just put it off from whatever socket, knowing that it's safe here and knowing that you're filming here tomorrow. You just come back tomorrow and just put it on. Probably change positions based on the director's angle of what he wants and what the scene looks like. It's just movement at that moment. Not like carrying it in, start standing them, start putting this, start checking this, lenses, that one and that one. You know, so it drags. First day usually drags. Not intentionally. You just realize that it's dragging.
Yes.
No matter the effort you put.
Yes.
You just realize that it's dragging. Except you're setting up the night before shoot day.
That's true.
That's just what happens.
So how do you ensure that your production goals are met while still maintaining the highest quality of filmmaking?
So take that again.
How do you ensure that your production goals are met while still maintaining the highest quality of filmmaking?
Okay, so in filmmaking, one thing you don't joke with is the quality. And by quality, you're talking about the audio, you're talking about picture, you're talking about production design. These are standards that you must not compromise, whether you have the time or not. So if you're the type that wants to hurriedly film and go, you may miss some of these things, because sometimes on set, for example, before any role, before any action, every department needs to confirm that they are ready. Ready means you are ready. So that means you have checked, audio has checked, and all that. And if, for example, now, if it starts raining and the audio doesn't feel good about it anymore, and says, let's cut, and then you say, no, let's go on. And he says, no, the audio is bad right now. Because it can pick up the rain. The first scene or the first cuts or takes, there was no rain. You just need to believe this set of people. I try to ensure as a PM that we listen to them. So if we have to wait for the rain to reshoot, or make sure that he has gotten it right. So by trying to get the qualities you deserve, you need to talk to the DOP, you need to constantly talk to the audio man, the light person, every hand. Is it good? Are you okay? Are you comfortable with it? Will it give us the best? Even when they try to sound like we can manage it, no. Tell me, whatever you people say, I'm going to go back to the director and the producer and say, these guys are not comfortable with what we're about to do, because it may not come out right. So can we allow them get it right, or you want us to shoot? In those days, I don't know if it's still happening today. There's this thing that we used to say. There are some producers that will tell you, shoot it like that. Because they feel time wasted is money.
Right.
Of course, it is money. Because welfare is going, location is going, the equipment, the monies are going and all that. They tell you, shoot it like that. Production designer will say, this dining table is not full like it should be. Or it doesn't look rich to depict the family. They'll say, shoot it like that. So you realize from that moment that things are, but you must have been seen as a production manager to have noticed and identified this thing and communicate with both the producer and the director. This will save you, because at the end of the day, anybody that walks into that production, we ask, when I not get PM.
Yes,
you know, see
exactly.
Do you understand what I'm saying? Yes. So at that point, you gladly mention that, no, I saw it. They get PM. And I mentioned the observation. But it was agreed to go on. So at that moment, you have more like exonerated yourself from that blame. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. So it is your duty to make sure that everybody is in agreement to what you are about to film. You are in agreement. You must make sure of that. The costume, the person wearing it, the costumier must have assured me that this is what it is, especially when it comes to continuity. The costumier and the makeup. Most of the times on my set, any set I am, the costumier, the continuity person, and the makeup must work together. If you work separately, things may go wrong. Continuity will come up and say, this is not the costume we use. This is how we say, that's the costume we use. Now we start arguing, start checking for pictures. This is time going. But if they work together, we are doing things so and so. So remember this costume, blah 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 and all that. You remember the makeup. Everybody is in tandem and ready to work. And by the time they are ready, we are working. We are working. So that is how I try to ensure that we maintain the quality at all times on any set I have worked on.
It's a really, really, really amazing one. I think we've all learned, including you, I think we've all learned about the intricacies of production management, and I just love how you also broke down what is required from a production manager. I've learned so much. So, do you have any words of encouragement to any new and upcoming production managers?
Okay. Before the word of encouragement, one thing I've come to realize, and I'm sure a lot of production managers know this. Most producers don't value a production manager with all that they carry, like with all the loads. The production manager who manages every aspect of the production. All. The remuneration is not really what it should be. And let me tell you, this is why most of the times when the actors come on set, they want to intimidate the production manager. Because they know how much or what do they get. And with what you get, definitely you can't stand up to them, you can't challenge them. Because it is believed that they are the ones selling the movie, forgetting the hands that are behind it, making sure that everything works.
Right.
Now make sure that everything works. Listen, I tell people, the celebrities actually, the real celebrities should actually be the people behind the scene, the crew. Because if they decide to mess it up, then you're acting, nobody will see your acting. So they are the ones making you look that beautiful, they're the ones making sure that your movement, anything you want to do, comes out so natural. So I think the industry should actually think about that. Think about how to pay production managers well. Because in the real sense, production managers are also producers. Because they are the head of the producer. Because if you want anything to be changed, if you want any movement, the production manager must be part of that, and will have a discussion with the producer. Whether to get it or not, or whether to try and do it or not. Because you are also considering the budget for him or her as a producer. Listen, you are also trying to save costs. So not everybody that comes and say, okay, let's do this, and then you try. There are some things that, even when it's discussed with the director, is really not necessary in the scene, or in the movie, or whatever you're doing at that moment. So these are a lot of things that production managers do. And don't forget that the actor that is coming in to do 2 days, 3 days, 1 week is paid so much. And the production manager who started the job from scripting, the moment the script gets into your hand, till the last day of shoot, and after the last day of shoot, to make sure that every equipment, everything goes back to where they came from in order, it's paid a little. So I think they should just look into that and give production managers some respect.
They should actually.
Yeah.
They should.
Give some respect. So on the issue of encouraging anyone out there who want to come into the industry as a production manager, it's doable. It's doable, and it is fun, even in the challenges. Because you're in control. But just know one thing, that if anything goes wrong, you're responsible. But just try and get your act, understudy a production manager that has been around, and then get thoughts about it. I when I was with Zebejiro, I was taught by Tim Spring. Tim Spring has a film school in South Africa. I don't know whether it's still there now or not, but he was the one that sat me down, and remember I said I was the general manager.
Yes.
That sat me down and draw up with colors, what is day, when is night, and all that. So it's doable. Just try and reach anyone that you know that can link you up with the production manager, and then you're doing the job.
Thank you so very much for coming on this show.
Thank you for having me.
I am immensely honored to have had you on the show. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So, before we end this session, I would like us to play a game. So,
I hope you're not winning.
I have bad luck with this game actually. I've been losing since I started playing it. So it's rock, paper, scissors. That game. Do you know the rock, paper, scissors game?
I'm not gonna lie about that.
Okay, so rock, paper, scissors is basically played like the two people, you do this 1, 2, 3,
Okay.
and then you either play a scissors, paper, or rock.
Okay.
And based off of what you play, you might win or lose. And then, but whoever loses has to pick a paper from that bowl, read what is on there, and do it. But I promise it's all things good, so you don't have to worry.
No wow.
So shall we?
Okay, so if I understood what you said, like you know that game that like if I do like this, you're supposed to replicate it. Is it not?
No, if you do this,
Okay.
so we're gonna play at the same time.
Yes.
And if you do this and I do this, for instance,
Yes.
that means you win and I lose.
Oh, okay. So I understand the game.
Okay.
I know the game.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So.
Rock, paper, scissors. Okay, let's do it again. Rock, paper, scissors. Okay? Rock, paper, scissors. Okay, I lose. Alright. I always lose, but at this point I'm getting I lost. So you play the scissors and a paper can be cut by scissors.
Okay.
So. What's something you've always wanted to try but have been too scared to? I'd say swimming.
Okay.
Swimming, because the water, like water can be very freeing, but at the same time, it's like when you're going into the deepest parts of the pool, you kind of just be there, like it feels like I'm being pulled by the water. Like I'm afraid of drowning, so that's why swimming has been a very scary thing for me. So that's it. Thank you so much for joining us on this podcast. I'm really, really grateful to have you here, and I've learned a lot, and I'm sure our viewers have as well.
It's my pleasure, and I really appreciate this.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
So everyone, join us, same time, same station next week. Bye.